God. Is
in a grocery store, and it's $5 to fire you.
Well, that's a shitty company. I should just give you. I can understand giving a
If it
warning.
happens more than once,
Yeah, I can understand giving a warning.
it's going to be a warning.
It'll be like a few weeks until everything gets back to a different schedule, because my mom hasn't worked for how many years, and for me, me and Ash gotta take the share of cleaning the house and everything else now. So it's like basically more of a toll on me, because I'm not supposed to cook dinner. But
you cook all the time.
No, I don't. I haven't really cooked until she started working.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at stuff and it's like making everything more healthy and everything else. I only can cook a certain amount of time. I gotta sit down next to a stove, and I want a high stool so that I can look over the stove.
You can buy that at Home Depot.
Don't have the money to buy it.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna need a battery. I don't have the money for that, so I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to restart the stream,
it's already
started. Restart the stream.
Yeah. So what you guys talked about in the other stream when I was gone?
Nothing. We waited a little while for you, and
yeah.
So we need to have a little more structure here. So why don't we start with topic 1, which was let's get back on to the censorship of Devil May Cry 5. Look, it was pretty. I think it's bad enough that they did it, but to do it to do it after the game is released is just dirty.
Yeah,
that's dirty that they would do that.
It's crap.
Yeah, I got
and
pissed.
They're only doing it to Japanese games. That's even more shitty.
Yeah, because
we'll find out. We'll find out.
I just no, there was a game previous to DMC that just recently come out. I think it was Metro Exodus or something.
That's Switch.
Yes, Metro Exodus. Yep.
And it was on PlayStation, and it showed boobs. It showed full-on boobs. And that was a Western game, American game. And it showed it on PlayStation, but when DMC comes on it, they can't even show a butt. But they can show boobs?
There's some theories out there. One of the theories is that Sony wants to make a big push into the Chinese market, right? So you can't show anything like that. You have to be very careful about sexual content.
You can't show any sexual content in China.
Yeah. So China's very strict, and
yeah.
Where the United States and Japan, we have a rating system, and if something's 17 plus M or R, you can have a lot of sexual content in that particular product. In China, they don't have such a thing. Everything needs to be
illegal in China.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you can buy bootleg DVDs from the street to get pornography in China, because we did that. I did that with my dad when I went to China.
Sounds fun. No, but it just proves the point. You had to get bootleg.
Mm-hmm.
You had to get bootleg DVDs. Now, if Sony, look, what's the problem with just localizing games? So if Sony wants to make a push into China, why do they need to censor things in regions that don't need to be censored?
I heard that Sony moved to America now. The headquarters.
So the department.
Their headquarters is now in California.
Okay, so here's what happened. Okay, Sony Entertainment is in California now. The company Sony itself is in Tokyo. So the CEO of the entire company is still in Tokyo. But Sony Entertainment, the division of Sony that makes video games, that does movies, things like that, they're in California now. They've moved to California.
That's when everything started.
Yeah.
When they moved to California.
So, who is this? Is this CEO of freaking SJW or what?
So the CEO they have now is not, but he's new. Vera put up a video about it. Talking about John Kadoa, Sony Entertainment. I'll get you their names. Sony Entertainment just replaced their CEO.
But is he making the push, or someone else is making the push?
So it was the one before him that did all this.
So what is his plan, to undo it? The new guy to undo everything, or what?
We don't know. Apparently, he hasn't started to undo anything, right?
Yeah.
Because of what happened with Devil May Cry. So he hasn't. So he's worked for Sony for a long time now. The problem is yeah. So the question is he going to change their policies back to what they were?
Yeah.
And he hasn't made any indication of doing that.
Sony is receiving a bunch of backlash now because of DMC, what they did.
Because Sony doesn't make much money on games; they make more money on their consoles. So it's like it doesn't make any sense if they keep on censoring this shit.
No, I would say it's the other way around. Hold a second. These companies don't make any money off of hardware. Hardware doesn't make them any money. All the money is made off software. So
a lot of third parties going to have to be pulled off. They have a lot of first party games that only on Sony. A lot of those games have a lot of stuff, the boot physics and everything else, it's gonna kill Sony then.
There we are. Okay. I'm sorry for kind of blanking on the names.
Okay? Oh, that's all right.
John Cadora was the CEO of Sony Entertainment, who's in California. All of this stuff started when John Cadora and Sony Entertainment in California was given control over not just the content that goes into the United States, but basically the content that's all over the world. I get
some more censorship, but Japan, they're not big into console games; they're more into mobile games.
Well, the PS4 is one of the best-selling systems and one of the best-selling gaming platforms in Japan.
Yeah, but they're more into mobile games.
Yes, mobile games are very popular in Japan. But again, so is the PlayStation 4. But John Cadora controls what gets censored in what games. He did. Okay, and he's kind of the one that started all of this. And it's strange because he worked for Sony forever, even back before all of this. And before he had control of Sony Entertainment, he was also a legal advisor for Sony. So why he did all this, I don't know. But he's actually stepped away. So John Cadora is actually retired. And Jim Ryan is the new CEO of Sony Entertainment. And if Jim Ryan is going to reverse any of this, we don't know. Or is he going to continue all of this? We don't know. All we know is that Jim Ryan has said he's interested in making sure that games produced by Sony are available for a wider range of audiences. That's all he's really said. But he hasn't reversed anything yet.
If he means wider range of audience, that means more censorship.
Yeah, who knows what he means, right? So what he's saying could be exactly what Ashley said.
They just lost their gaming business.
Yeah, Sony, because I'm basically not going to buy more Sony games until I hear a review of their censorship on it and stuff. I'm not, because I spent $74 on Devil May Cry 5, and I found out stuff has been censored on it. I'm like, no.
It's not just cutscenes. I heard that things were cut out on the PlayStation.
Yeah. I'm gonna find out if I could trade it in and get enough and get Devil May Cry 5 on the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I just had recently gotten Final Fantasy Royal Edition. I didn't buy it for the PlayStation. I bought it for the Xbox.
I have an Xbox One X. So.
I mean, if it's a game you're not going to play, then you might as well replace it.
Hopefully, they do not try to get these older PlayStation 4 games censored as well. There'll be a huge backlash for that.
They'd have to do that through patches and whatnot, and I hope that we don't see that happen.
No.
The only game that I have, I had sold I had a copy of Nier Automata, and I had sold it to someone for like $18. And I'm going to take that $18 and I'm going to buy the Game of the Year edition, which has all the DLC on it, which is $40. So basically, I'm only paying $20 for it because I traded, someone else the game for $20.
I have all
Who
the
didn't give up the
DLC.
DLC. Well, you have all the, but they have it all now on a disc.
No, I bought the deluxe edition. Came with all the DLCs with it. I even double checked it.
When did you buy the deluxe edition? Because the Game of the Year edition with the DLC just came out.
Oh, then I don't know. I have it all on Steam. Then I checked the Steam DLC and I have it all.
Yeah, you could have bought all the DLCs as it was coming out.
No, I bought it all. I bought it all when the first game came out. I just bought a deluxe edition. Usually, deluxe edition comes with the season pass and everything.
Oh, okay, with the season pass. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Yeah. I was gonna say because the DLC came out over a long period of time.
Yeah.
In fact, the last DLC only recently landed. But anyway, that's the last game I kind of picked up for Sony. I'm not interested in really buying Sony games on the PS4 anymore.
It just left a bad taste in my mouth because Sunrock Conquer game. I love that game. They put the rebirths and stuff. They didn't do any censorship on that, but the new one, Vera made a video about them making Sunrock Conquer 7. They're going to censor the shit out of it because they denied it.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
I'm like, looks like that company's gonna die unless they make it for Nintendo Switch, because I could tell that the reason why people buy that game is fan service. That's the only reason people buy it is fan service.
And they could make it for the Xbox One, but they would have trouble reaching the Asian market.
Yeah,
because the Xbox One, it did sell 40+ million units, but we're talking only in the American European markets.
Yeah.
So you're not going to reach any Asian markets through the Xbox One. You can reach the Asian market through the Switch, as you said. So if they can get that game on the Switch,
our Japanese RPG games are going to go to the Switch. They're gonna
Switch or Steam.
They're gonna be scared of PlayStation. That's what's gonna happen.
because they make money off of fan server. That's the reason why. Like a lot of the reverse harem that Ashley plays and stuff. It's gonna be censored too. All your guys can be censored, honey.
It doesn't even show anything.
Are you sure? Half naked guy. Yeah, Carl.
How is
even though I should be in bed, I see Grim is as black as ever. Yes, he is the shadow. He is the darkness. He is the night. He is Batman.
So, still the problem I think you have going with the Switch is, so the Switch has sold a respectable amount of units in Japan.
Power.
Right. So there's a power problem. We all know that its resolution and its frames and the frame rate on it has a problem. We're also talking about 5 million units here, right?
Yeah.
So as of right now, I guess we can kind of estimate that there's about 5 million Switches sold in Japan, and it's probably I think twice that in the United States. So Switch is but Japan has less people in it, less people that buy systems.
Hey,
but regardless, 5 million units.
Yeah.
How many PS4s have been sold in Japan? 20 million, 30 million?
Yeah. Hey, Ashley, can you close my mom's door? Or close your door? I can hear it through your mic. You know the Sunrock Conquer Peach Ball that I played, the pinball style game?
So I guess this 10 million PS4s in Japan, that's still the I bet you it's like 20, 30 in the United States.
Well,
Sunrock Conquer, the pinball game?
Yeah.
Or the what game?
The Peach Ball I played.
Oh, the beach, is it a volleyball game?
No, it's the ping pong game that I bought in Play Asia when it came in Japan.
Oh, right, yeah, I saw
and
that.
It's like one of those things. So they can handle fan service games on that. Even Dead or Alive Extreme Scarlet is coming to the Switch as well. I don't know how that's gonna play, but I got that game for PS4. I'm getting by the end of this month, and I'm hopefully it does not censor it. If it's they said that's the last game that won't be censored. In the video when Vera made a video about that, so I bought it instead because I don't want to get Dead or Alive 6 because I just waited for free on the PS4 because a lot of Dead or Alive 5 game all DLC it was free on the PS Plus thing.
So the Dead or Alive fighting games are notoriously evil for what the DLC and the extras cost.
Yeah, it's just but even the skin is not. Usually people buy the skins of Devil May Cry 5 because they're wearing lingerie, swimsuit, all that stuff. The newer ones won't have it, so they're not going to be able to sell a lot of it. It's like fan service, like skin clothing. That's basically what it is that people bought.
You mean like in my Shining Dragon game where I can have them
maids
walking
outfits, stuff
around
like
in a
that.
bikini?
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to put a patch of that and censor it.
I hope not. That's the older game. So if they did the older game for all the PS4 patches stuff, there's going to be a huge uproar because
the game's also Switch.
Yeah, but yeah. When are you gonna have the waifu and best girl podcast? I want to be a part of that. I don't know. I already mailed your stuff. I already mailed your stuff. I already sent your Supersonical poster and the magic cards. Carl,
we were planning to do that portion of the podcast tonight, actually, originally, but stuff just happened today where we were both busy and we couldn't really get it organized.
What, the waifu thing?
Yeah, we'll do it next week when we talk about anime and stuff.
Oh,
we'll do that. We'll do that next week.
Oh, you do that
so
next week.
I get to talk about my husbandos?
Oh God, no. Post the Switch sold 7.74 million in the end of 2018. PS4 sold 5.6 million in the end of 2018 in Japan. Well, and also Switch is 2 years old, so. And I think we'll see the next gen console next year. I don't understand it. It's like back and forth. It's like PS1, reigned supreme. Then the PS2 came out. No, it was with PS3 and the 360, and 360 reigned supreme. Then the PS4 reigned supreme. Then it'd be the Xbox turn. I bet it's gonna reign supreme next year. Sorry, next year when the new gen comes out. It's always back and forth, and I see it when they get the new consoles out.
The numbers I'm seeing are opposite. I'm seeing numbers saying that the PS4 sold 7 million units in Japan through 2018, and that the Switch has sold 5.4 million units in Japan. I think you've got your numbers reversed.
Post. Why don't you send them the link down in the chat?
Yeah, Post has the numbers reversed. The PS4 would be 7.74, and the Switch would be 5.6.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a link. Hold on.
The way I see it, Sony is turning into what the
there it is. I found it. I have a link. I'll post.
Sony is basically doing what Nintendo did with the Wii and the Wii U.
The Wii.
Yeah, the Wii. Yeah. So Sony is going to be losing a lot of third party and first party on their thing because no one's going to buy if it's censored. There are some people that might buy it censored.
As you can see, even the link, it says PS4 sold 7 million, and they're talking about in Japan. So I would say the 7.74 million would be the PS4, not the Switch. The Switch would be the 5.6 million.
Yeah, and Switch will sell a lot more once more third-party game coming out, and a lot of third-party games are coming out this year.
I think the Switch is just going to keep selling, probably, regardless, right?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to make a new powerful
Switch.
It's
convenient. That's the thing. It's convenient.
Knowing Nintendo, that might be a Switch Mini, but I don't think there's going to be there won't be another powerful Switch, in my opinion, because.
So if we're talking consoles, what do you think about Microsoft and their clear move to just trying to create an all streaming platform?
I'm buying the one with the disk drive. Because we're nowhere near.
Let's talk about what they're aiming at, not the hardware itself. What are they aiming at?
They're aiming at streamers.
Yeah, right. They're aiming at creating gaming as a service and not gaming in physical media per se, right? Because they have Game Pass.
Well, how much should I make on Game Pass alone, profit wise?
So I don't know how many people they have using it. I haven't looked at it.
Because
it's there.
Because the problem is that the reason why I don't have Game Pass that I have majority of all the games they have on my shelf, and it's like I don't need it. It's like I don't need it. That's why I don't. That's why I don't buy anything. Get the Game Pass because I have the game. If I want to see it in Xbox One with better graphics, I just pop in a 360 in, and that's it.
I'm going to post the name of the company that's tracking the sales I'm talking about. It's called Sales Tracker Media Crate. And they're the ones that are saying your numbers are not correct.
Yeah. Well.
So those sales tracker media crate,
Yeah.
and they extrapolate between units shipped and units in inventory in retailers. So that's how they get their data. And they don't do Xbox because Microsoft isn't really forthcoming on numbers. So anything Microsoft tells you is that, or anything anyone tells you about what Microsoft has sold is kind of a guess. You know.
Well, Microsoft is fine either way. It sells computers.
Well, Microsoft's one of the most valuable companies in the world, right? They've been valued at over $1 trillion. I think that they're currently under that, but you know,
Hammer.
I think Microsoft has a lot more money than Sony does.
They do.
Yeah, it's just I don't understand.
They're only dabbling in the game.
Well, they're bringing what, 2 different type, one without the disc, one with one without, one with it, one
They're
for
doing
streaming digitally
one
and stuff.
One that's for exclusively for streamers. They're catering towards streamers to make it more convenient for them.
Why release a version of the S though? That is this, digital only box. Why would you release your weaker system as the digital only box? The only reason I see is they're trying to literally put a $100 or less. Well, they're trying to put a $100 or less system on the market, right? Because if you produce an Xbox One X that is only digital, it's still going to be what, $300, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just taking a guess, but it's still going to be up there.
Xbox One X without that without the
drive.
But it doesn't exist. All Xbox One X's have a disc drive. They don't have a digital only version.
I'm guessing that it's a test to see how well a no disc drive does.
Well, remember when they first announced Xbox One X, they're thinking about taking out the optical drive out anyways. I think they're doing this just to test out. Will it sell? I think this is like their beta testing and like will it sell?
That's gonna be
sure, sure. And with that, they're going for the lowest price point possible. So a lot of people have said, why are you doing it with the S model, not the X model right now? Well, who's to say that they won't do an X model down the line?
Yeah,
that's all digital. They probably will, but they're trying to put something out right now that is at the lowest price point ever. They want to put a system out that is half the price of the Switch. That's how they want to fight. So if you put an all digital S out there and you charge $100 for it, I guarantee. Well, I don't guarantee anything, but I have a feeling it will sell some units.
Yeah. As I take over Sony that dissolved the company with policy in place that no one that currently or had worked for Sony would never be able to form a gaming company again.
True. But keep in mind, Hammer, remember, Sony's not just a gaming company. They are a consumer electronics company. So gaming is only one division.
My first Sony was a damn Walkman with a cassette tape.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. They're a consumer electronics company. And they are a movie studio. They are a movie studio, a very large movie studio.
Yeah.
They did Hotel Transylvania.
They did indeed.
I don't know what's. I don't know. It's just that doing this to the gaming side of it is a huge blow, and it's gonna backfire them in the long run. Well, let's move
especially to a rated M game.
Yeah, let's go to the next topic. So, how was that Diablo, Graham? I heard it was very hard for you, Graham. I'm almost to level 10, and I'm like level 24.
Well, all right. I'll just. I mean, I just want to say, Post makes a good point there, right? When you think about it, he's talking about the fact that all the Xbox Ones have to use Blu-ray players and 4K players, right? And where are they buying those all? They're licensing them from Sony. So, yeah. So basically, every Xbox that gets sold is selling licensed technology from Sony. So they put an all digital system out there. They don't have to pay Sony anything for it. So it is a good point. It's a good point.
I'm waiting for the next Bond movie. I guess I wouldn't. I think they stopped. The next Bond movie.
No, there is a new Bond movie coming out. Daniel Craig is doing one more movie.
I was like, I say he'd be a good Bond, but everyone's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not the color. Who gives a shit about color of the skin? Is he a
Yeah,
good actor? Can he act like James Bond?
Daniel Craig has one more Bond probably.
Yeah.
Then they'll pick someone else.
Yeah.
Or not make any more of them. I don't know. Who knows today, right?
Yeah.
They seem to cancel everything.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't see another Bond movie for 20 years.
Okay. So the Diablo thing. I'm going back to you on that.
Sure. I'm on level 3 now. Diablo 1 is hard, everyone. It is a hard game.
Well, it's not that hard. You saw me play my gameplay, right? I'm on dungeon 9, almost to 10. I'm level 24.
Well, you've been grinding it a lot more than I have.
No, I just cleared a whole dungeon and just go next one.
Yeah, I've been sick the last couple of days, and so I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna get onto it. I'm gonna get some Diablo 1 playthrough. I'm just happy that they re-released it. Hey, so what is this? Why do you think? And I'm sure there's a lot of legitimate reasons out there, and I could probably answer them too. And I'm just gonna say this rhetorically. I'm just gonna say this rhetorically, right? Why is Blizzard giving Diablo 1, not giving, but why are they putting Diablo 1 and Warcraft 1 and 2 on GOG?
Because Activision
and not on their own
Blizzard
servers?
by the balls.
Well, remember GOG is
3DRM.
remember GOG is CD Projekt Red, right? So I don't know if that means anything to Blizzard. They probably don't care about that. I just clicked on that video Post sent us. That's freaking hilarious. That's hilarious. Click on that link that Post put in there.
Is it going to give me a copyright claim?
No, it's a James Bond thing. It's a James.
I'm not into James Bond. Sorry.
No, it's a joke.
Let's see here. I think because Activision has Blizzard by the balls, so that's my opinion. Blizzard's trying to save their content before getting destroyed.
Hold on. Blizzard is Activision. They don't have them by the balls. That's like saying Hasbro has Wizards of the Coast by the balls.
I think they do.
Wizards of the Coast is not a company. It's a division of Hasbro. Blizzard is a division of Activision. They're not. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. No. What in the affirmative action?
But
is going
I don't know if releasing Diablo
James
1 is
Bond.
what really is really what people wanted. When they wanted either a Diablo 4 announcement or a Diablo 2 remake announcement.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I see what Hammer's saying, and yeah, they could have been like, well, let's re-release Diablo 1 and maybe they'll be happy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that video is pretty.
I can't play full of it. I know the guy. I won't get copyright strike.
Who is the guy?
He's a comedian. He used to be good on Vine. Does the Vine for a while.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I'd never seen it before. I thought it was pretty funny.
More than Activision has Blizzard by the balls, but yeah, he was.
Well, yeah,
someone agrees with
Blizzard's
me.
Blizzard's not a company anymore. Shit.
Blizzard wants to move away from Activision, just like Bungie did.
Well, I think Blizzard is far more integrated into Activision than Bungie was.
Yeah, it's clenching those balls tighter now as we speak, because Diablo Immortal is coming out soon, and I'll be reviewing that crap like nothing.
Whatever happened to the Elder Scrolls mobile game? Did that ever get released?
Cat. Huh?
Did that ever get released?
What?
The mobile Elder Scrolls game.
It's been released. It sucked.
So that's why I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, it's like EA got the Command two. This is their second Command and Conquer mobile game. I tried that again. It sucked.
So the mobile Command and Conquer game sucked, and the mobile Elder Scrolls game sucked.
Yeah, the Command and Conquer that they put on the mobile it's the same style as Command and Conquer 4. That it sucked really bad.
And I didn't try it. Oh, so what kind of interface were they using?
I don't know what the interface was, but you don't remember number 4. You don't mine Tiberian anymore. You get wave points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
that. And you get a certain amount of units you can build. But the original Command and Conquer, you can
Yep.
build as much as you want. Get like 1,000,000 infantry going to someone's base and see them all slaughter. Or get like one of those miners and just run them over.
Oh damn. Yeah, so that's too bad that the Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
um
Oh, we're talking
mobile
about
games
games,
suck.
Boncat. Elder Scroll Blade was way too similar to Infinity Blade.
What is Infinity Blade?
Yeah,
I don't know what that
Lance,
is.
you're thinking of different games. What?
What's Infinity Blade? I
I
don't
don't know
know
what
what
Infinity. Never played it. I only played the Blade, the Elder Scroll Blades. Problem is that you're also gonna have to get microtransaction with it as well. So you can go a certain amount of time, unless you wait for a certain amount of time or you replenish your stuff. So I stopped playing it because it got boring, and I'm not giving them money for it.
So Infinity Blade was an iOS exclusive.
Mm-hmm. Is this about Skyrim? Skyrim,
It,
yeah, yes, we were talking about Diablo, Skyrim, and Command and Conquer. Before that, we made fun of Sony and talked about their fault on it and Devil May Cry. You can ask us questions, Boncat, if you want to know.
Infinity Blade is an older game. It's from December 9th, 2010. It was for the iOS. It was designed by Cheer Entertainment and Epic Games, and it is a fighting game with role-playing elements. So,
All mobile games have microtransactions.
Basically, I'm just scared for Diablo Immortal because
That's gonna have
I know it's a copy of
microtransactions.
another game just reskin. I never played the other game, but I'm scared of how bad the microtransaction is because I don't know if everybody remember when they played Diablo 3 with the auction house. That was a mess. Even though I made $50 that one day, but it was still a mess.
yeah, I see that. Infinity Blade 1, 2, 3, and 4, all for the iOS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was only referring to the date for the original release of Infinity Blade for the iOS. But what's this? Uh, on December 10th, 2018, Epic removes all Infinity Blade games from the App Store. What is that about?
What?
The medieval fighting role-playing mobile game series from Epic Games is no more, as the developer has removed all entries of the franchise from the Apple's App Store. The series, which has been dormant since 2013, I guess you can no longer buy it, according to this article from The Verge. Oh well.
I was fighting a dragon. I went flying up in the air. I made a smash the game with a hammer. Rage, it had good rating, but the developers.
So if these versions of these, if Command and Conquer Mobile, and I'm gonna call it Skyrim Mobile, but Elder Scrolls Mobile, if they were bad, then what does this have? You know, it's like you're saying. I'm worried for Diablo Immortal. What are we going to get out of Diablo Immortal? Or do we already know what we're going to get, right? Because
it's basically
it's that NetEase game, right? What's the name? Please look up the name of the game that it copied. It copied a game that was made by NetEase originally.
Freaking this game, Diablo.
Hammer's talking about the bad build Verge video. I remember that.
Game. It was a Chinese clone.
Well, so NetEase is the name of the company, and all they did was reskin another one of their games. Well, that's what everyone is assuming. I don't know. I haven't seen gameplay for Diablo Immortal yet, but it's a reskin.
A little bit. I got the screen.
Yep,
the
there it is.
looks like
co-developed by Chinese NetEase, and NetEase has developed a lot of these type of games, which have been criticized in the past for being ripoffs of Diablo. So now they're taking a ripoff of Diablo and making it Diablo. I can't wait to find out how good it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing on Ashley's iPad for this.
What?
I hope it runs
You're
on my
not putting
iPad.
that thing on there.
I am. I'm going to be playing it on it because I need a big screen to stream it on so I can play it while streaming it.
How are you going to stream it? I don't know how to stream
I'm
from
going
the iPad.
to. There's a program that you can stream your iPad onto the computer.
Yes?
Yeah.
Now, don't you think that if they're going to put Diablo Immortal. No, I guess putting it on Switch would not be a good idea for them.
For mods only. I was still trying out the new phone. New mobile. I have something to ask you people in the background.
Well,
ask away.
Post just told us that everyone that played it at BlizzCon thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
So that means I don't have high hopes for it.
Even Boogie said it too. Boogie played it. Yeah, I don't have any high hopes for the Immortal. They say it's supposed to be crossing the 2 stories between 2 and 3. I doubt it.
So is it canon? Does anyone out there know if Diablo Immortal is even canon?
I don't think so. I think they're going. I know what they're going to do. What EA did with the Command and Conquer. They're going to put it on mobile. Then later on, they're going to put it onto their app store for free.
For free?
You can play the Command and Conquer mobile game on the EA Origin for free. That's basically what they're going to do. They're going to try and milk the production cost as much as possible. They are going to put it on the PC because that would be the smart move.
Supposed to saying that it's really not meant to be canon. Okay, I mean, I don't know. The whole thing, just like you're saying, Lance, just seems to be like a...
Huh?
The whole thing just seems dumb.
Yeah, I'm going to play because I'm a huge Diablo fan. I played Diablo since Diablo 1 since it came out in 1996. Then Hellfire, then I played Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction when it first came out, and Diablo 3 when it first came out. I'm a huge Diablo, StarCraft. Let's say I'm a Blizzard fanboy because I played a lot of Blizzard games growing up when I was a kid. So, so I can't wait to get World of Warcraft 1 and 2 on GOG because I'm definitely going to buy that. Those were one of the best Warcraft games.
Warcraft 2 was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I especially liked that you could build boats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really remember Warcraft 1.
Warcraft 1 is orcs and human, basically. They were demons, and elves weren't added till number 2. It's basically doesn't have any storyline, but yeah.
We got some time left. Why don't you give Post call? Get him online.
Poor Post.
Give him a call and hang out. Let's get him live.
Are you sure are you sure he smells?
Get Post in here on Hangout. Come on.
Okay, I'm doing my best. What did
the
original one was, you are on Hangout? Let's see. Okay, he says she has a question. Okay, my question is Diablo and Skyrim. Put those 2 games together. Would you play it? Yes. That sounds epically awesome.
But how would you do it? The perspective that each
I'll
game
do the perspective of Skyrim, the first person perspective, and the surrounding as Diablo with Diablo skills and everything. I think that would be epic.
Bring him in on Discord? No, Hangout.
No, I'm sending him the thing on Discord.
Oh,
the link.
Right.
Where the hell are you, Carl? Carl.
No, you're bringing Post on.
I'm putting Post on. Where the hell are you? There we go, Post. This is me. Oh yeah, thank you. How do you add more than one person? Are you on? We'll get you on Galaxy Cat next week. We'll have one person today. So next week, I'll give you a list of stuff. Next week we're going to be doing
anime with Carl.
Yeah, so we'll find out later.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Post. Hey. So, tell us. So the story is supposed to be between 2 and 3. So it's not going to be canon at all.
Right here.
I'm not positive that it's actually going to be canon or not, but it's just meant to be like a side story to link 2 and 3 together.
Oh, okay. All right. I understand. I don't know. I'm just so worried about the game. And yeah, like you were saying, right? Everyone who's played it thinks it sucks.
Yeah. And I think there was like one streamer that was at the event, and he reported that the phone that he was using at the little booth that had it bricked the phone.
It bricked the phone.
What phone was it using?
I don't know what phones they had at the booth. It's like one of those things that are locked to the thing so that nobody steals it.
Yeah, I won't know until they said the production's already done. We just need to know what the release date is so that I could rip up another can out of it. And I think everyone in the YouTube community is gonna rip another can out of it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like what happened to Fallout 76. That's what's gonna happen to Diablo Immortal.
Well, I think that Diablo Immortal being a flop will affect the company less than Fallout 76 affected Bethesda, right? Because that was a big project for them.
Yeah.
Where I don't think Diablo Immortal is that big of a project for Blizzard Activision.
Because they saved that Immortal till the announcement towards the last, and that's supposed to be a big reveal trailer for the whole Blizzard community, and the whole Blizzard community is like, "You dumb person, you made a big doo doo, big doo doo."
Well, they intended it to be like seen earlier in the event, but they were having issues, so they switched to Hearthstone.
Yeah, Hearthstone, I think is gonna die out.
Okay, so that's what happened.
Wait they were having problems showing it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither.
Like if you look at the clips from the event,
I'll show you
the full length of it. It was the guy was like, "We're having issues, so we're going to switch to Hearthstone now."
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll go back and look. Damn. Well, I guess you better prepare yourself a little better for BlizzCon, right? I mean, that's crazy.
Well, after a couple weeks, he said Diablo 4 is going to be in the works. So I'm gonna answer this question. No, if it's Diablo and Skyrim together, I'm gonna call it the holy demon trinity. I'll call it that.
I just wanna go back to post what you said earlier about the Blu-ray players. Man, that's something that a lot of people never think about, right? So every Xbox One that's released, right? They've literally got to pay Sony for it, right? Because of the Blu-ray and the 4K players.
I thought
if they do a digital version, they don't have to pay Sony anything.
I thought the Blu-ray was LG or Samsung.
No, Blu-ray.
No, Sony was invented, Sony invented Blu-ray, and they own the patent for it.
Yeah, but usually they get the actual drive from LG or Samsung.
They would still have to pay the patent.
They have to pay. Yeah, it's like let's think of it this way. So when Apple makes a iPhone, they have to use every iPhone. They have to pay Qualcomm for, because Qualcomm owns the patent for the chips that are used to transmit signals back and forth on GSM.
Yeah, the CPU.
The CPU. So, like for every iPhone, Apple has to pay Qualcomm. So it's the same thing with Blu-ray players. For every Blu-ray player that you use, you literally have, or 4K Blu-ray player, you literally have to pay Sony for it. So every Xbox One sold, Sony's making money off it. Mm-hmm. So if they do an all-digital edition, they don't have to pay Sony anymore. It's something you don't really think about usually,
Bananas.
But it's a true point. It's a true point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
what's
go ahead on the next topic.
What's our next topic that happened? What crap show happened this week?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you had
Magic the Gathering. They're putting out a new set. What every pack's gonna have a planeswalker in it. 36 planeswalker total.
No, this is the next normal set release. Okay, right. So War of the Sparks is the next normal set release. It also takes place on Ravnica. So we're getting our fourth set in a row that takes place on Ravnica. But yes, they're doing something that they've never done before, which is there's 36 planeswalkers in the set, and now they're saying there's going to be one in every pack. My fear is this, and
they're going to be worth a lot less.
Well, no, and Post can give his opinion after I'm done. Most of these planeswalkers are going to be junk, and we're just going to see a lot of planeswalkers that are similar to the planeswalkers that are used in the planeswalker decks, and most of those are terrible. and we're going to see a ton of those, right? We're going to see a ton of those. And that's my fear. My other fear is planeswalkers were always like something that was special, in my opinion, like something that you don't see too often. And by releasing this many planeswalkers this quickly and having so many planeswalkers in every set, I just don't like it. This is purely an opinion. I just don't like it.
You know what planeswalker they should bring back? Well, they should make a planeswalker of.
No, don't say Urza. Because they already
Urza.
do it.
I was on that stream. I was like, I want Urza as planeswalker.
They've
Urza
already
needs to
said
come back.
they will never do it because they feel that they can never create a card that will meet anyone's expectation. And no matter what they do, someone will be let down
Well,
by it.
Urza is like the most powerfulest one.
Anyway, Post, go ahead. Go ahead. What do you think of the? Sorry, what do you think of War of the Sparks?
Post. I think his mic's dead.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
No, I
Oh
can
yeah,
hear
there
ya.
is him. Anyway, I just
Dude.
gave my opinion on War of the Sparks. We were just wondering on yours.
Well, first to add what Lance said about Urza being added, in order for them to add Urza to the game, they would have to kill off Karn.
Good point.
Because Karn currently has Urza's eyes, and Karn also has Sancha's heart.
That is a good story, good element. I mean, although they could just write whatever they wanted, like Urza fully reincarnates with new eyes or something. They could.
But then all the people that are fans of Karn's will be outraged.
Oh, absolutely. Not that they don't outrage people all the time with their terrible writing. But
is Urza
what do you
dead?
think about the 36 planeswalkers and a planeswalker in every pack? That's the question.
Yes, technically Urza is dead. And as far as my opinion about 36 planeswalkers in War of Sparks, I think it'd be a good decision lore-wise, and I will give you examples of how they could balance it. But lore-wise, it's heavily foreshadowed that War of Sparks will be like, the big Planeswalker war. And how they would get all the Planeswalkers there is there's an artifact from Innistrad that has the ability to summon anything with a spark. And that could be the reason why Nicol Bolas ends up in Ravnica. Also, the way they could balance it in the set is Vraska currently has the Immortal Sun in her possession, which takes away the Planeswalker's ability. So, like what I said before, I think all Planeswalkers will be flip walkers, legendary creatures, flip walkers in the set. And how they could balance that is it'd be more difficult for some Planeswalkers to flip to their Planeswalker side than others.
That actually makes more sense and more balanced.
So are we looking at them starting off? Are we looking at some starting off as planeswalkers and some not, or having them all start off as planeswalkers, or having them all not start off as planeswalkers?
I think that not start as planeswalking and flipping it. That sounds more of a balanced game. Because I remember those old school flip cards.
Like the Origins.
It'll be exactly like Origins.
Mm-hmm. That sounds more balanced because you don't want to have, like
someone
like pay four. Yeah, basically you pay 4 or 5 mana, and you get a planeswalker right there. Let's see how much damage I can do to you, or make your life upside down.
Lance, you know what the Origins flip walkers were, right?
Yeah, I have them.
Okay.
I have all the cards except for the new set that just released.
And then as far as the lore, how they would retain their abilities or get their abilities back is during Ixalan, Vraska and Jace had a romantic relationship, and he used his Mind Sculptor ability to have her erase all the events in her mind of what happened in Ixalan until he snaps his finger. So in the start of War of Sparks, Vraska will be in Nicol Bolas' side, and then Jace will have some sort of interaction with her, and then switch her back to his side, and then take away the Immortal Sun, so that all the Planeswalkers would have their abilities back.
I mean, that would be a really cool way to go with the story.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. That would be great, actually. I mean, hopefully it's something along those lines because I kind of like that. I think that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're using elements from the last couple sets, and yeah, that'd be a great direction. Now, how do you think? What do you think about how good all of these planeswalkers are going to be? Like, what do you think about the power level of a lot of these planeswalkers? Because could we really have 36 good planeswalkers, or
Well,
are a lot of them going to be
some of them are more relevant than others as far as the power scale goes. Like in terms of the planeswalkers after mending, like the people like that did not start in the beginning of Magic's history, like such as Sorin and all of them. Sorin's one of the more powerful ones because he's the older one of all of them.
he's what, like 10,000 years old in the storyline?
Yes, and he was also sort of like a what with the word he's just very intelligent and he knows his limits.
And he's also a vampire.
Yes, and he's from a very prestigious bloodline of vampires.
Right.
And he is descended of the lords of all the vampires in Innistrad.
Which makes him basically part of the highest nobility on that plane.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean that is interesting. I hope this set does well.
And it also gives the opportunity to answer some plot holes that were in the story before, like Narset's story that we haven't seen her since Fate Reforged or Khans of Tarkir.
Right, we haven't.
And also, like, for people that don't know, the first two sets of Khans showed the story before the Brothers' War and Fate Reforged that ended the block. It's basically them.
Fate Reforged was the second one. It was the time travel one. Dragons of Tarkir was the third
one. Well, Fate Reforged was the one of them going back into the past to change history so that Ugin would live after the Brothers' War. Because having Ugin alive would be more beneficial and make it easier to face Nicol Bolas.
But we never actually got so we got an Ugin Spirit Dragon Planeswalker, but we never actually got in Ugin...
him resurrected. But we'll get him resurrected in War of Sparks.
That would be awesome. That's all I have to say. I would love to see a resurrected Ugin. That would be sick.
But like one question that people that had was the time mage that sent them in the past Narset during present time or Narset from the past, because Narset had time magic abilities in the past too. So
well, we don't have that answer yet either.
Yeah, we don't have that answer yet either. Is the time mage Narset in present time or not? Or was it a different mage in general?
And will Narset be in War of the Spark?
Yeah, she was confirmed.
Nice. Good to see you back, like you were saying. Good to see you back.
The last series of Magic books that I read was the Mirrodin that I read, and I had never really any other Magic gathering books at all.
18 years ago.
Huh?
So that block was like 18 years ago.
Pretty much. I stopped reading afterwards because I got the Japanese sets. I think after that, I'm like, I'm not into that. I stopped reading the book. Just bought the cards.
Lance, I gotta bring it up because I bring it up every stream. When are you gonna crack that PlayStation Classic behind you on the shelf, buddy?
What do you mean? What do you mean? That's not a PlayStation Classic. That is actually the original box of the PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah, go get it. Go get it right now and show it to us.
I will actually turn on your camera because I gotta use the restroom. I'll bring the PS1 Classic over.
I just posted a link of every one of the stained glass pictures, and anybody that's on the stained glass was confirmed to be in War of Spark.
Which is cool. How many of them are there?
They're all there, all 36.
Are they using this artwork?
No, they're not using this artwork.
Okay, I didn't think so. What? I see the first one's an Elspeth? What?
No, they're not sure whether it's Elspeth or not. That's why there's a question mark.
Oh, yeah, she's got a staff. Elspeth's like a sword, you know?
But then again, the lore with the dying in Theros is if you come out of the underworld, you have to change your identity and your memories and stuff.
So that's the storyline they'd go with if she comes back, she would have to come back different.
Yes. But we don't know. But we don't know whether or not her being summoned would change that effect. You know.
Oh, there's my boy Tipple. Oh. What's with the face on Jaya? Jaya. See the face on Jaya? What is that? I mean, I think some of these are good. Some of them aren't. I'm kind of torn on some of these. Ashiok is fine. Chandra's fine. Bolas is fine. I think Karn looks great.
The only way for me to be happy is if they kill Jace.
No.
Because they messed up his storyline real bad. It's like, what's the point of having him have character developments if he keeps forgetting everything, you know?
Yeah, and they were trying to play him off as one of the most powerful planeswalkers, but then they erased his memory.
That just sounds stupid. That's like in every book, movie. I lost my memory. What am I supposed to do?
The smirk that Chandra has on her face is pretty funny. She's like, "Come and get me, mofos! I'm ready for you." And the Chandra artwork's pretty good. I don't know if I really like the Liliana. I don't think it does her justice.
I'm back.
The Gideon one's not bad.
The pictures are more of stained glass style.
It is. That's what it is. A stained glass.
So it's not going to be true depth pictures of them. It's going to be standard 2D.
The new book is coming for 5e. It's called the Ghost of Salt
Bring that
Marsh.
up. Read to us what exactly that is. That's a module, right?
I believe it is. We can look at the pictures actually. And look at the back of it. If my computer does it.
There must be something on Wizards webpage.
Adventures on the High Sea.
I would, if I still owned a store, I would have known about this.
It's a module level 1 to 12, nested on the coast of Azure Sea and Salt Marsh.
So if it's level 1 to 12, there must be a second part of it, I would assume, right? Because aren't all the 5th edition modules 1 through 20?
Yeah.
Except for the Yawning Portal.
Yeah.
So it must be the first part of another book, kind of like Mad Mage.
Yeah, it's part of the Forgotten Realm. Salt Marsh?
No, I know, but usually when they do modules, the module is written so that's levels 1 through 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's a Mad Mage. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Does Asfara host D&D in his store?
He does.
So should we ask him?
Yes. He was in stream earlier, and I talked to him on the phone earlier today. I forgot to ask him about it.
Yeah, it's a sinister secret of Salt Marsh, and it's sequel. So this supplement introduced the port town of Salt Marsh, the perfect starting point for a nautical campaign, 7 sea-based adventures, including the classic The Sinister Secret of Salt Marsh and its sequel. Takes character from level 1st to 12th level. It also includes the rules of DM advice for ships and sea travel. So this is like basically the basically going out in sea and basically killing aquatic
so
creatures.
They are actually adding new rules in this book then.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that.
Because we never really have much of a sea battle, sea rules with the ships and everything else with 5e. So this one's gonna probably going to help out with all of that as well.
I wonder if these rules are something that were tested under the Unearthed Arcana, because a lot of the stuff that makes it into these books is released and then tested on the Unearthed Arcana platform before it ever makes it into the books.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the Everon book, which I actually haven't read yet, but I do, that the Great Librarian has blessed the PDF on me. I should take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, again, for Post and Lance, all of the books for the 5e Middle Earth campaign are now available and will be
The
uploaded.
Great Librarian still hasn't sent me an emulator.
What emulator are you looking for?
For
you want to play Final Fantasy games?
Yes.
So you want the DS and the GBA versions?
Yes.
All right, we can make that happen. I'll talk to some people. We'll get you a GBA and a DS emulator.
The Great Librarian has forsaken me for about 2 weeks now. I was supposed to play Final Fantasy this
whole
March.
He said he sent you the books you wanted.
He sent me the books, but not the emulator. But don't worry, I got Diablo 1 covered, so I've been playing that a lot.
Right. So let's talk about Final Fantasy here. So, Post, what's your favorite Final Fantasy? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Lance wants to do a series of streaming Final Fantasy 1 through 15, not including the online ones. And
I can play 14. I still have my account on 14.
Right, but
favorite as far as story or as far as mechanics?
Both. What's your favorite as far as story and mechanics?
My favorite as far as mechanics was 12. It was a little bit ahead of its time, and a lot of people didn't understand. You know, some people thought it was too easy, but there was like a reason for it.
What did you think of 15?
I didn't like the setting for it.
The story on 15 wasn't that great.
I mean, they added I'm not saying the story got any better, but keep in mind that they added a lot of extra story stuff to it through DLC.
Yeah, it's not really much stories that they added on 15 for the DLC. It's mostly
the
content.
whole Royal Pack, the extra stuff through the Royal
Pack. It's mostly like places that you can go and see and look around, like the Chocobo theme park. Woohoo!
I'm guessing you don't like chocobos. You're gonna eat chocobos.
I like
Chocobo is just a giant ostrich.
The last DLC is the prequel. What happened to the Nocturnus line? That's the last DLC. That is an actual story. You know, the rest of the DLC wasn't really a story. It was just an add-on thing that you can go travel to.
But like, it's kind of stupid how they did the time skip in the middle of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no point for that time skip to happen. If you wanted Noctis to truly have some sort of character developments, don't make a time skip.
Yeah. It was that middle of the story. It's like toward the end. Like when time skip is, time to go beat the last boss. That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 15 wasn't great. I can tell you my story and my favorite mechanic. I think my favorite mechanic is still I think Final Fantasy. I like turn-based on Final Fantasy because I grew up with turn-based with Final Fantasy. I would say 10 is like the best one for me. And the story-wise,
yeah, I liked 10 too.
Yeah, the story-wise, it has to be between 7 or 10.
Hey Lance, if you really like turn-based, and you really don't enjoy the Infinity Engine games, by Infinity Engine I'm talking about Baldur's Gate 1, 2, Planescape Torment, and so forth. Play Temple of Elemental Evil.
I played that.
Oh, you have? Because
Yeah.
that's completely turn-based. I just wanted to throw that in there.
I played Temple Elemental Evil when it was first on the PC disc a long time ago. I think I have a box down there somewhere.
Yeah, it was on.
I never played Baldur's Gate because
there's a Windows 10 patch for it.
Yeah, because every time I wanted to get when I was a kid, when I was in high school, I wanted to get Baldur's Gate. They always had the trilogy pack chest with it.
They released. I actually have a European version of it.
Yeah, I always go to
that
games.
has all of them. That has 1 and 2 and the expansion.
Yeah, because back then GameStop used to sell PC games. You know, They always see it, but they always asking for like 40 to 50 bucks. And I was in high school. I worked a part-time job. I'm like, buy a game or take a girl out and have fun. So most of my time was taking the girl out and have fun. So I always left the Boulder Skate.
What about taking me out?
It's called 8 years.
Oh,
It's
you
called
just
8
got
years of.
called out. Lancelot just got called out by his wife.
It's called
You
8
don't
years
take
of pain
her
and
out.
misery.
Have you ever played Lost Odyssey?
I have the game
Oh,
finally.
yes, I
I
have.
got Lost Odyssey.
It's a
Boulders 1 and
very
2.
excellent game, well made and everything.
Mm.
It's like similar to Final Fantasy like 10 and 7, but it feels even more of an RPG because you have some options in the game. Like if you go back to certain places, you can get certain items, and you have options too. And the overall setting was good too.
Mhm. Well, for me, is I can't really live stream a lot of RPG games because a lot of RPG games is a lot of grinding involved, and a lot of people get bored when you start grinding like crazy. They want to proceed to the next storyline. So it's kind of hard to stream those kind of games for me because I played Boulder's Gate for the first couple days. People got bored of it, and I can't stream it anymore. I got to play in the background.
Remember how bad people were complaining about Tales of Berseria?
Yeah.
They were complaining so bad because I was grinding a lot.
Yeah, because the problem
Well,
is you have to grind to
that was
level
a
up to beat the boss.
I was looking at Tales of Vesperia, the definitive edition. I was considering buying it, but
I like it.
it's it's what, it's $50 now? Oh no, it's 50. Yeah, it's $50. Just just can't do it. I'm gonna have to wait for it to
I
come
have
down
the
to a bit.
statue with the collector edition.
No,
For the
that's
360?
Zilia.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, Zilia was on the PS3.
Yeah.
We had the figure.
Yeah.
So what made you want to do this stream? This this is going to be a problem with you streaming Final Fantasy 1 through 15.
It's going to be. It's
because
probably
you're going to have to grind a lot, right?
Yeah, it's
Final Fantasy 1 and 2 are quick, but after you get further than that, they're not quick.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 1 through 6 that's pretty quick, and after that, no.
Yeah.
All right,
it's
1
probably
through
going to
6.
be me playing in the background and just posting on the Let's Play channel. I think it's going to be me playing in the background, recording it, and just posting on the Let's Play channel. That's probably the best I can do with the RPG stuff. Or post it on the RPG channel. I don't know when you're going to be greenlighting that thing. Oh,
Well,
you want to see the PS1 Classic, don't you?
Yeah, where's the PS1 Classic? I got it. Bring it into view. Let's open it up right now. Hey, everyone! You are lucky to be online with us tonight, because tonight you are going to witness Lancelot open for the first time.
I don't think he's opening it.
PS Classic, his PlayStation Classic, which he paid $100 for, even though he likes to tell me he paid $50 for it. But we all know he paid $100 for it, even though it's
I actually paid $50 for it.
Okay, all right. You paid
I told him he was stupid for getting it.
Yeah, it was my birthday gift, so shut up.
It's currently going for.
It would have been more worth it if it was just $30.
Yeah, I think right now it's $39.99 on Amazon and at Walmart.
Yeah, I haven't seen any at my Walmart lately, so yeah, it's still sealed.
If it came with the option to add more games later on, then it'd be worth it. But
Sony's gonna
as
do that.
is now, it's just not worth it.
No, it's just a pretty box that's going to be on my shelf. That's basically what it is. I pay $50 for paperweight.
So you're telling me that you're never going to open it?
No.
Never.
If someone gives me $100, I'll open it and destroy it right now. And I'll go and buy the $30 one at Walmart. I'll keep $70 in my pocket.
Why don't you just open it and hack it and put emulators on it?
No, because I'm already going to give the librarian the money to make me stuff up the emulator and stuff.
He wants an old droid running RetroPie, which is fine, but you've been asking for it for a while. But
well, I have to get the money first. You know my situation. Off of this life, you know my situation right now. I gotta take care of stuff first.
Right, you have to actually get
You
the
can
rest of
also
your
get a PS Vita too.
I have a PS Vita, but I'm not going to hack my PS Vita. I will not hack any of my console. Let's have a duplicate of it. If I have a duplicate of it, I don't mind hacking it.
You know, when the Vita first came out,
It was
and I
easily
saw
hackable.
that monitor, the screen that's on it, that thing was nice. That screen that's on that first release of the Vita, man, that thing is nice.
Yeah, it was an OLED.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't have an original Vita anymore. I have a second gen Vita. Screen still looks pretty good. Not as good as the OLED.
I don't know if mine's the first gen or not.
Ours is first gen, I believe.
Is it fat? Is it like a fatter Vita?
Yeah.
Because the original Vita's a fat.
Yeah, ours
The newer
is
Vita's a thin.
I'll bring it, and you guys can tell me.
Yeah. I bought that for my birthday in Japan.
The first one also had a touch capacitor on the back of the console.
That's what we have on ours. So ours is the first gen. Yeah.
Well, I have a second gen. Mine has the touchpad in the back.
I don't know where we're going
Can you
in.
see me?
Most
I have it right here.
Let me make it big. Here we go.
Put the serial number on. Click on Ashley's camera, please.
I did.
Oh yeah, that's a first gen. That is a first gen. Mine is way thinner than that. That's a first gen. Mine is way thinner. Actually, is that in the case? That's in a case, so I don't know now.
You already take it out of the case?
Yeah, I can't tell because of the case.
Did you see if it said 1000 or 2000 on the serial number?
The serial number. Good point. Good point. I personally have a 3000. That's what I have. What does it say?
That's the third one.
Yeah, I have a
Serial
3000.
number is HU426529990.
Is there no other numbers down there?
I don't think the camera can get that.
Yeah, your webcam can't focus on that.
Is it supposed to be underneath the barcode?
Oh well, I can just see how fat it is. That's a first gen.
Yeah.
That's a first gen. I can just tell by how fat it is. Mine's not that thick.
It has a case and a screen protector on it. Everything.
Lance prefers the thicker ones.
Oh yeah. They're calling you fat, Ashley.
Well, he's gonna have to turn it Ashley. I think Ashley weighs 100 pounds.
No, she's 2 tons. She's a well lord.
Hey, I'm only 110 pounds, okay?
Well, she gained that 10 pounds from eating a donut.
Oh, she got that 10 pounds from eating a donut. Well, hey, you have the Vita that has the better screen on it.
Yeah. I haven't really played it. I think they discontinued a lot of the games on the Vita. There's a lot of old Vita
They're
games
still releasing exclusives for the Vita in Japan.
Yeah, and Limited Run Games is still doing stuff for the Vita, I think.
I got to turn it on. I think there's an update for it.
Wait, aren't they doing Cold Steel to the PS4?
What the hell is Cold Steel?
It was a Xseed. It was an Xseed RPG, fan service RPG, for the Vita, and I thought they were redoing them for the PS4.
March 26th, Graham.
March 26th, nice.
I think it's time for space talk.
Well, we have a bunch of people. We don't have to do space talk tonight. There's only 5 people in.
I already put the description. The dragon has landed.
That's true. It did land.
Yeah.
And it landed.
Successful land.
So what does this mean for space travel, everyone? What does it mean? It means that
past every regulations, right? So we can use the commercial shuttle.
Yeah. So hey, the United States has an actual launcher now that can put people into space. Once again. I mean, the only thing that the Dragon can do right now is dock with the space station, but this is, according to SpaceX and our dear friend Elon Musk, it is the first step in creating and modifying the Crew Dragon to land on the moon and possibly go out to Mars and further. which I mean, to get to Mars, it would seriously need a lot of refueling stations along the way, which we'd have to put there by pre-launching them, setting them up, making sure that they're in the proper place,
And
and that
also sending some ships over there to refill the damn thing too.
right. That's what I mean by the.
We're not that advanced yet.
Well,
Do
how
you
they
want to
would
hear my opinion on space travel in general?
What?
sure.
I think we won't get truly advanced in space travel until they make the meeting extraterrestrials public.
Oh, what? You mean like the Balkan
Reveal to me
Tapperland?
Area 51 is real. What's in it? What is your
The
secret?
The Balkan Tapperland? Oh, in Area 51 sits the crashed Roswell 1947 UFO. That's what's sitting there right now. Right, using these combustion-based engines is a significant problem because of fueling and actual speeds that you can attain. But let's imagine this. So you know how we move some of our satellites?
Mm-hmm.
Some of our satellites, we use two different methods. We do have some that have actual solid rocket fuel that if they need to reposition a satellite in orbit, or if a satellite is decaying its orbit, they can use solid rocket boosters that are on it and move it. But another way that they move smaller satellites is something that we like to call ion drives. And ion drives have actually been around for a very long time. And what an ion drive is it's simply a device that creates two opposing electromagnetic fields that push off each other, creating movement. So these, it does it by creating one electromagnetic field, ionizing another one, pushing them off each other, and then creating propulsion. Now, theoretically, you could design very large ion drives that could push very heavy objects very fast. But we do have a problem, like we have a problem with everything. And that's the power source, right? That's always our Achilles heel. It's our Achilles heel with mobile devices, right? What's the problem with all of our mobile devices? Battery power. That's what is holding all of our mobile devices back. Is we can't design batteries that last long enough.
Well, we actually have, but we can't get it. There is a rare metal that's in Africa that California was about to make the self-recharging battery. But I forgot what the element was that they tried to make it, but Africa didn't want to give it because
Okay. So
well, there's a couple different metals. You're referring to kyperite, or I can't pronounce it, kyperite.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there was another one with the T that's more abundant, but the issue was safely extracting it without ruining land around it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the one thing that will would push space travel is better incorporating solar energy.
Yeah, well, we get like 80% now, so.
Well, solar energy, of course. I mean, we know that's what's powered all of our Mars landers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The solar panels are what keeps them going.
But the lithium battery is the one that stores it.
Some of the Mars landers do use plutonium reactors. For example, all of our probes that we've sent out into distant space all use plutonium reactors. Like New Horizons, for example. New Horizons is plutonium powered. I remember when I was a kid, and I forget the name of the probe. I forget the name of the probe, but it was one of the first deep space probes that was plutonium powered, and people were protesting its launch because one of the fears is if this thing launches, right, and it gets in the atmosphere and it explodes, or the launch rocket explodes, but you have all this plutonium material, all this material that's getting spread across the atmosphere. I think it was more of a fear-mongering. Luckily, none of these probes or launch rockets ever exploded. New Horizons is functioning quite well.
How long does plutonium reactor last, anyways?
In the New Horizons, let me look that up. Actually, I was looking at it the other day.
Because there's also someone trying to get depleted uranium, encase it in lead, and put it like diamond covering it as a new battery source that'll last for a long period of time as well.
So they don't. It won't last as long as the plutonium batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So the New Horizons plutonium batteries. What do you got?
I got Miguel.
I'm just looking up. These things are only producing 30 constant volts at launch. It had to produce 240 watts. 30 years. It looks like the New Horizons power source will function for 30 years.
That's actually pretty good.
Now, you know what's interesting about probes is, remember, the Voyager probes still have power and are still sending us signals back, even though they're an empty state. But they do give us some readings about, say, background radiation and temperature. Voyager space probe distances, they're pretty far.
I have a question.
Sure.
To you specifically, Grim, because you worked into the field. Why can't they just make machines that create their own gravitational field outside of Earth so that the ships can use the slingshot method?
So for a ship to create its own gravity, the only way that we know how to do that is through centrifugal force. Are you talking about? Well, so so probes and ships that we send out, we already do. I mean, we're already moving them using slingshots anyway. So, like New Horizons had to slingshot itself around planets to get out to Pluto.
No, I'm saying yes, that ships have slingshot with planets. I'm saying why can't they make machines that they can slingshot off each other?
So the question becomes, how do we make the machine produce the gravitational field? We only have a limited understanding of how gravity works. So the first way that we is that it's actually mass bending space. So this is the version of gravity that we know of from relativity. How dense an object is takes how much space is bent around it. So when you're figuring out a slingshot, what we're actually doing is speeding an object around an actual curvature of space and slinging it off that curve. In that curve, we're actually giving that object more kinetic energy. That's what the slingshot does. So by sending that object to close proximity, throwing it around that object, it picks up a ton of kinetic energy, and then we launch it in a direction, and it's picked up a ton of speeding kinetic energy. Now, the other version of gravity, which we haven't quite been able to tackle as well, is that it's created by a particle called gravitons, which we mathematically calculate to exist, but we haven't actually seen yet. We have not actually seen the existence of gravitons. We're trying to see the existence of gravitons. Now, we've mathematically calculated other particles to exist and not seen them, and then found them using particle accelerators. The best example of this is CERN. We built CERN actually for only one purpose, which is why so many people were like, why are you wasting your money building that? They built CERN to find the Higgs boson. And the Higgs boson was a particle that was calculated, based on the standard model and mathematics. It was a particle that was calculated to exist within the standard model based on the interactions of other particles. without getting into specific names of different
Are they
particles.
like, are they like making a bigger
So
one of
they
those?
want to. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. They want to. So the CERN was able to actually see the Higgs boson, so the mathematics was correct. So they want to make a much larger particle accelerator, one that's literally the size of a European country. And I've seen the kind of schematics, a CAD schematic of this thing, and it's huge. And it has to go underwater and all this other stuff. And they want to use this to actually find the graviton. Because if we can find the particle, the graviton, and see it, and we can build advanced, maybe we can build advanced technology to actually produce gravitons if we know how they function. But we haven't seen them to know how they function. Now, how would you create artificial gravity? Now, this is the next question. We already know a method to create artificial gravity. And we call it artificial gravity because it's not real gravity.
I know how to create artificial gravity.
How?
You.
Oh, okay, right. That's so fast. I'm so damn fast. So if you object fast enough, you create. So the act of spinning something is you've taken physics, right? Centrifugal force, and you can actually use centrifugal force. You can actually spin something fast enough to create enough centrifugal force to push everything that's in an object towards the center of that object. And if you spin it fast enough to equal 1g, you basically have created artificial gravity. But the speed that you have to actually spin something is incredibly fast. And the size, you'd have to be at least 1 kilometer long.
And how much power will it consume?
I couldn't even tell you that because it depends upon
how much joule per force that you need to be 1g to go around to get to that.
You'd have to give me the object. You'd have to tell me what object you're trying to spin to calculate it. And you'd have to tell me
let's say the size of a bowling ball.
Oh, you couldn't do it. It would take too much energy.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it. There's no way.
I don't know how we're going to actually power it.
The object would have to be the size of a kilometer. Like I said, it'd have to be a kilometer long.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not a kilometer long. It would have to have a diameter of a kilometer. A diameter of a kilometer.
Because I don't know.
So for objects to create their own gravity, I mean, all objects have their own gravity, but something the size of a probe cannot create enough gravity to slingshot anything, to slingshot another object. We just don't have that capability, unfortunately.
It feels like
you're assuming that I'm asking for something the size of a probe.
So if you want to create, if we could create, okay, let's think of it. Let's think of it. Let's use a little.
Can I give an example?
Yeah, sure. Use a little imagination.
Okay, you know the generators in Mass Effect?
Oh, okay, yes, I do. Yes.
Those machines use perpetual energy.
How did they start? Okay, so not remembering the story that well, what do they use to create perpetual energy? Are they fusion powered? Are they antimatter powered? So perpetual energy meaning you never have it not only creates energy, but it creates the energy that it needs to create energy, so therefore it never needs to be fueled.
It's a combination, I think they said, with fission and antimatter.
Okay, fission
we're nowhere near that technology.
Well, we have fission. Hold on, we have fission. So that's what our nuclear reactors are, Lance. Remember that.
Yeah, I know
we have fission reactors.
Europe, I believe the UK is making a self-sustaining fusion reactor right now that's not even finished yet.
Okay, I mean that would be amazing. I would love to see it, and I hope we do that soon, right? Mm-hmm. But as of right now, we have been able to produce fusion, but we have not that I've seen, we have not been able to produce any fusion reactor that makes more energy than it takes to make it work.
Yeah.
So if you can start a fusion reactor that can make more energy than it needs to make the energy, then in a sense you have a perpetual motion machine.
Yeah.
But fusion reactors need fuel. That's the only problem.
Yeah,
You have
and also the byproduct is nuclear. Is hazardous waste.
For fusion.
For like the depleted uranium, hazardous waste. You know, from the power plant stuff.
Well, you wouldn't need uranium for fusion.
No, I'm just saying a lot of stuff. The perpetuals you could reuse what it has and continue it as. The stuff we have fuel in, and the byproduct is energy and also waste.
Oh, right. I understand. You're talking about like using uranium to do fission, and then we get deuterium, heavy water.
Yeah.
We get deuterium, which we call nuclear waste.
Yeah.
And they bury in the desert, right?
Oh, right now, no, we don't have an actual place to bury them. We had a plan to dig, I think, how many miles down in Nevada until some Senate or whatever shut it down. So we have pools right now in California, and we just leave the waste there because we have nowhere to transport it or store it.
So they're just
still in the pool of water. That is stored in a container in a pool of water.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean that's terrible. Yeah. So I mean, this is the problem with the fission reactors, is it creates what's called D2O. Okay, that's the chemical formula for deuterium. It's D2O, or heavy water. The D being the deuterium, 2 and O be water,
and tritium.
And tritium as well. And these are hydrogen isotopes, right? So how do you deal with these hydrogen isotopes? Once.
Half-life.
I didn't really.
What's the half-life of it?
The half-life of deuterium is probably millions and millions of years. It's a hydrogen 1 isotope. D2O is a hydrogen 1 isotope. So I'm trying to remember chemistry. Hydrogen 1 isotope. Yeah, it's probably a long time, millions and millions of years. Wasn't there? I don't know. And this might have been just some story I read, but there was a biologist, microbiologist, who claimed that he could engineer a bacteria or an organism that could actually eat hydrogen 1 isotopes for food.
I'm posting something for the chat.
Okay.
And if that's true, that would be amazing.
Well, no, we found a bacteria that can eat through polyester, so that's a start. And oil.
Fission versus fusion. That's probably a good article. Yeah. For those who don't know, we can sum it up. I mean, fission is the act of splitting atoms, and fusion is the act of smashing them together. And the sun itself powers itself by hydrogen fusion. Hey, I just want to kind of touch on how I talked about last time that I wanted to talk about black holes. I won't get into black holes, but let me tell you something.
Stephen Hawking, you can do it.
No, I just want to mention this because this has always been very interesting to me, and it's about, and it kind of relates to our discussion about gravity and how gravity makes everything collapse equidistant from all points around a circle, which is why everything is kind of a circle. Although I know the Earth is an oval and it wobbles, and that's because it's kind of getting pulled a little bit by other things in the solar system. But if all things being equal, gravity just kind of makes everything into a circle because making everything collapse equidistant from all sides. Now, why doesn't gravity just make everything collapse all the way into one point, a singular point, a singularity? It's because that an equal or greater energy has to come from inside the object and stop, and equal gravity and stop. And remember last week when I told you, Lance, so I told everyone in chat that gravity is actually the weakest of all the fundamental forces, which seems crazy, right? Because of all the stuff that we see gravity does, but it is the weakest of all the fundamental forces. I just have always found it interesting since I was a little kid how so many things can equal that collapsing tower that gravity has. So you have to ask yourself, why doesn't the Earth collapse? what is stopping the Earth from just collapsing into a singular point? And it's because the Earth is made up of electrons like everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is when the electrons get close enough to each other, the nuclear weak force, which is one of the fundamental subatomic forces, one of the fundamental forces of reality as we know it, start repelling the actual particles from each other, so they can't get any closer. So this force, this nuclear weak force, it's stronger than gravity. So the Earth can only collapse so far at our mass, our density, and it gets to a point where that nuclear weak force is too strong for gravity, and it stops gravity from collapsing the Earth further and further. And it's just electrons that are doing that. Electrons are balancing out and doing more than that, actually, stronger than electro weak force is stronger than gravity. But as objects get bigger and bigger and bigger, you need more and more energy to stop gravity, because as an object gets bigger and has more mass and has more gravity, therefore you need more power coming from the opposite side to stop it from collapsing. And when you get to something the size of a star, right, electron degeneracy pressure, and that's what we call this act of the nuclear weak force repelling the electrons from each other so they don't smash into each other. We call it the electron degeneracy pressure. And this will stop the collapse of something the size of the Earth, or even something the size of Jupiter. When you get something the size of the sun, though, that force can't actually stop gravity. The sun has so much gravity, can't stop it from collapsing into a singular point, a singularity. So nuclear fusion, this is where fusion comes in the sun. It's actually thermal, I can't speak tonight. It's actually thermal energy created by fusion, because fusion is so powerful, E equals mc squared. It's so powerful that thermal energy actually stops the collapse of the massive sun. And if the sun ever runs out of nuclear fusion fuel, you know what that means, right? What does that mean, Lance? Because the core only has so much hydrogen in it.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when all that hydrogen is used up and turned into helium?
Well, helium is a noble gas, so I'm guessing that it won't burn anymore.
Well, right. So
it will blow up.
Well, our sun isn't big enough to blow up, but some stars do blow up. That's so true. They're called a supernova. Our sun will just go nova, and what that means is we're going to end up with a superheated helium core, and the convection zone of the sun, which is made up of different layers, but outside of the sun, is all going to.
Will the light spectrum that is hitting with a UV ray hitting Earth, if it runs out a helium and runs out hydrogen and burns off a helium, will that also like affect us in a way?
Well, it won't matter, and this is why, because the convection zone of the sun, which is all hydrogen as well, is going to all collapse. It's going to be pushed. So a massive amount of hydrogen, more hydrogen than the sun burned in its entire 10, 11 billion year old life, is going to be pushed right onto that superheated helium core. And it's going to be a massive fusion reaction that's going to expand the star into what we call a red giant. Okay? And that red giant will be larger than the orbit of Earth. In fact, it will reach all the way to the size of the orbit of Mars. How large our sun's going to be, and it's going to get that large.
When that happens.
The what?
I'll be long gone before that happens.
Yeah, it's probably about 5 billion years from now. Then after that, it all just kind of burns away, and only that helium core is left, and we call that a white dwarf. Some stars, that start off much larger than solar is, have so much hydrogen that dumps on that helium core, it makes such a giant fusion reaction that it actually explodes, and the star explodes, and that's what we call supernova. And we can see those in the sky. I don't know. I always loved that part of stellar astronomy when I was a kid, and it was always so interesting to me about how the sun will die and how fusion works inside a star. You know.
It's getting
Anyway,
towards the end.
we'll just end on that. Would be super awesome.
I think Post got one more question.
So, yeah, if someone can create a fusion reactor on Earth that makes more energy than it takes to produce fusion, that's a whole other step in our development. That's a whole new type of technology. That's what we need.
Instead, we'll get
Elon Musk. You hear me?
Instead, we get an expensive phone that doesn't do pretty much anything. Any last question, Post?
No.
For Grim? Anything for me? I'm just an engineer. Anything about space and stuff goes around over my head.
I think that's an interesting idea, by the way, Post, about actually creating. It's an interesting idea, making objects that create enough gravity that they can use that gravity to slingshot themselves. I think it's a very interesting idea. Now,
and also to add to what you were saying, I know I used Mass Effect as an example. When you look at the machines that they're using to slingshot the ships, it does look like it's giving off an electronic field, almost like it's exerting all the excess fuel that it does not need.
Oh. Is it look like it's ionizing particles, or?
Yes, and also pushing particles away.
Kind of like the concept of an ion drive, which is two fields of energy actually pushing off each other. Because that's one question a lot of people ask. Well, if you don't have flux, how do you create propulsion? Well, you can use magnetism, you can use electricity that pushes off each other. It's an interesting idea. Creating an object massive enough that creates enough of its own gravity to actually slingshot another object.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what Dyson kind of wrote about, right? Didn't he write about objects like this? You know who Dyson is, and the whole concept.
I don't know who Dyson is. I might slept through a class or two, so.
Yeah, Dyson he wrote about objects like you're talking about. He's the one that wrote about the idea of the Dyson sphere, which was an actual sphere that is the size of an entire solar system, and it would be the most efficient way to capture the energy of a star by putting it in this giant sphere that collects all of its energy, and its energy can never dissipate beyond the sphere, and you could actually maybe at one point use 100% of a star's output. Holy crap, that would be amazing. A Dyson sphere. If anyone is interested, look it up. I can talk more about Dyson spheres, but it's a very interesting concept. And what Post
But it won't happen for a very long time for the Dyson sphere.
We'll be all dead. Your grandkids and your grandkids before that, and their grandkids before that. You won't see that.
Well, there's some biologists and scientists working together, and they believe that immortality is a lot closer than what we think.
And you know what? How I feel that way too. I feel that there's so many different ways.
All I know is I'm gonna get cybernetic parts.
Well,
one thing that I've always found funny? Like people that create like extreme theories with facts backing them, like Stephen Hawking's, they've all said that we would get time travel before we get travel to other planets.
It is true. It was said. It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting thing to bring up. And what that means, who knows? And I'll throw this caveat in there. In what form will the time travel come? I mean, we already have time travel in one sense because of space-time dilation, right? But we need much faster engines to achieve that type of time travel. That time travel is only in one direction. So it is philosophically an interesting thing to think about. having time travel before we could actually get to other planets. You know? Who else said that besides Hawking?
Let me see what.
You know, there's one other thing I'd like to say about the human brain. We used to believe that it was not possible for your brain to produce and create more brain cells or neural pathways, and we've actually found that to not be true, and that was an incorrect theory. We've actually seen that brains do have the capacity to create new neural pathways and new neurons. So if we can find some way, and I don't know how that would be because I'm not a biologist, some way to stimulate that, we could keep the brain going on forever, right?
Yeah. Anyhow, I think we'll cut it here till next week.
Till next week.
There was actually a guy in 1895 that had a theory that time machines would come before space travel.
Huh. Wonder if he was friends with Jules Verne or H.G. Wells.
It is H.G. Wells.
Oh, it is H.G. Wells. Okay. War of the Worlds, baby. War of the Worlds.
Yeah. All right, then, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know what you guys want to talk about. Let's talk about next week, especially for Grim Space Talk. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I'll put up Minecraft in a bit. And have a great day, guys. Bye.
All right. See you later.